My video for November 11th, 11/11/2019, is video number 3271. The title is Those Who Forget the Past Are Doomed to Repeat It. Perspective is a huge part of discernment. While I truly want to play a role in creating a better future for humanity, the past does play a role in both our present and future. It's an enigma for sure. Is it possible to see the bigger picture when we are living in such a narrow bandwidth of what we call reality? The title is a quotation by George Santayana. He was a 19th, 20th century philosopher, poet, essayist, and novelist from Spain who was raised and educated in the United States. Of course, many say time is just an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Indeed, as I persist in reflecting on my life and its meaning, I wonder if I really do have the purpose I thought I did since early in my teens. Is it possible to have peace on earth with humanity learning to listen to each other and finding the love in our hearts to forgive wrongs we've experienced, moving on to co-creating a better world? Does it require 51% of people living on the earth to agree and overcome the millennia of deception that is admittedly our history? Once again, I've waited over 12 hours since I wrote that blurb before I'm actually recording it and then going on to bed. And I do have a video planned tomorrow with a friend if everything works according to schedule. Anyway, I continue to go through deep reflection and introspection. I know a lot of people liked it when I said that we needed to let go of the past. But I honestly, as I reflected throughout the day today, and even after I recorded that video and wrote the blurb for it, I am troubled. Because if we don't correct the problems that have existed on this planet for a very long time, we're going to keep on getting the things that we've always gotten. We have to face the fact that for whatever reason, the loving God abandoned creation to his earlier creation of angels, some of whom rebelled and became demons. And they were liars from the beginning. If you look at the book of Job, which is the oldest book in the Bible, God, or I should say, the devil, went to God and said, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there's none like him in all the earth? He does good and turns away from evil." I know I've said that, and that continues to play over and over and over again in my mind. And the latter end of Job was greater than the beginning, because in all of the things that happened to him, he did not do what his friends admonished him to do, that is, curse God and die. And neither do I have any intention of cursing God and die, although I pray for God to stop making excuses. I really want to see the fulfillment of my vision since I was a boy, but I was able to articulate it from early in my teens. As I've said, I used to preach on the street corners in Paterson, New Jersey, with others from Bethany Church that I used to go to, that I grew up in. And I grew up in the Assemblies of God. Wyckoff Assemblies of God and Bethany were the two churches where I got my foundation in spiritual teachings, mostly of the fundamentalist evangelical Christian Pentecostal viewpoints. And even at 73 years of age, I continue to want to see the manifestation of that. But God has to take responsibility. I mean, I feel as if the Creator has been making excuses forever. I mean, free will is one thing, but to allow the fallen angels, the demons, to violate the free will of others, which I believe has continued to happen for millennia, there's something wrong with that picture. There is no responsibility on the part of the ultimate creator. And people say, but we are the creator. And I know I keep hearing that too play over in my head. We are the creators. No, we are the responders. We are not the creators. I'm sorry, I don't buy that we are the creators. We can respond to what we experience, and we have free will in how we choose to respond, at least to a degree. I know for a fact that a lot of people are forced to do things that they would rather not do. And when they follow the orders given by ones that are perceived as superiors, they end up paying a price, sometimes an agonizing price. I've seen that with my cousin, whose job it was to be, because he was a sharpshooter, he was to pick off the Viet Cong. That was what he did. And it messed him up really, really bad. And on the front page of today's paper in Florida, the Florida Today Sunday edition, was a headline of one of the soldiers who left Iraq and got married, had a child, had a second child on the way, but his mind was so messed up that he went a little bit berserk and the cops killed him. And that's on the front page of the Florida Today for the 11th, or I'm sorry, for the 10th. The video is for the 11th. It's for the 10th. Anyway, these things trouble me because I really want to see people uplifted. I want to have my own personal codons turned back on. I want the gifts, talents, and abilities that were suppressed in my ancestry way, way, way back. Forgetting the things that are past. I know I talked on that just in the last video. But it goes way back, and it hasn't been fixed yet. There has been no remedy. The remedy can't be just forget about it and don't talk about it. We have to focus on it. We have to pay attention to why we got where we are, if we're ever going to get out of where we are, if we're ever going to be freed from the millennia of criminality at the highest levels of what we call government, of what we call institutions of religion and institutions of higher learning, supposedly. But it's not higher learning. Consider that it's the pedophiles that are in charge of the whole thing. It's the people that do heinous crimes against the most innocent of humanity, poisoning their souls, poisoning their minds. And most cannot even become free of it. It's so horrendous. I hope the current president succeeds in draining the swamp. I really do. I want to see that happen. And I talked to one of my friends earlier today, and he's very much on Trump's team. And he used to be, along with me, one of the officers in the attempt to reestablish the Republic of Florida. I was the Secretary of State, and I don't remember what his position was. Maybe Secretary of Treasury. I'm not positive that's what his title was, but he was part of the administration in there. Anyway, we need to see real change, and we need to overcome the sins of the past. Thank you for listening, and namaste.